Hi everyone, it's Frugal here. As always, I don't have coffee because I'm opening my own e-commerce store. Yes, I shall be talking today about how do you actually take your business online and how can you actually sell your product or service online. So, we're going to talk a little bit about the online ecosystem, things like marketing and SEO. We're going to touch on that. We're also going to be talking about, WordPress, because WordPress is very important. It's a very great platform, and according to some statistics, they would say up to 60% of the internet actually runs on it, of websites. We're also going to talk about WooCommerce, which is a great plugin if you want to use, sell things through WordPress. It basically allows you to create products and things. And then the fourth thing that we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about a payment gateway, because people want to, put in their credit card details and then pay for it, right, from your website. They don't want to battle with EFTs and other magical things saying, okay, how am I going to I'm going to pay for this. You just want it to go very smooth. So let's start now with the basics of the internet. So you know that you would need number one, a domain, which is a .com or a .co.za. How does that work? Well, that's the address that people will be coming to buy your things. Most companies already have a website, they already have a domain, so it's really cool for them. They don't need to get another one. You can have your website and your e-commerce site on the same domain. So what you also would need is you would need a host. So that is basically a little server space, a little computer space where your website would be hosted. Another thing that you would be needing is an SSL certificate. If that sounds too technical, speak to your host. They'll be able to help you. There's basically companies out there, you can just Google hosting and basically get a company to host the website for you. They can also register the domain for you, sort out the certificates, everything that you need. And it's really as simple as picking up the phone and asking them and saying, can you help me? Can you assist me? I really do recommend having a local one. The international ones sometimes are a little bit tricky because they don't respond as fast as you want them to. Okay, so let's talk about WordPress. What is WordPress? Well, WordPress is an open source code solution that allows you to create a website, write articles, blog posts and pages and do lots of stuff. But the amazing thing is, you don't need to know how to write code. So let's talk about that a little bit. What does it do now? What is the basic idea behind it? So you can get pages and posts. Pages and posts are very similar, but pages tend to be something like a contact us page, or it might be a home page, where a post is something that you're writing, and it might be a news article, it might be something that's current, it might be something where you're educating the people that land on your website, your readers, okay? So when it comes to that, you want to keep on writing stuff and let the people know what you're doing and how you're doing it and just adding more value. Now, within WordPress, you also get themes. Now, the way that themes work is basically you can install a theme and it changes the whole look and feel of your website. So the idea is that your content would be text and your theme is colors and prettiness and all of that. So you also then get plugins. Now, this is where it gets very interesting. So let's say you want to add extra functionality, right? Like a shopping cart, or you want to add a payment gateway, or you want to add a contact us form. Now, WordPress doesn't come standard with those things, but what you can do is you can add a plugin that actually does that for you. Now, WooCommerce is the next part that we're going to be looking at. Okay, looking at WooCommerce. WooCommerce is a plugin that you can use within WordPress. You can install it. It'll basically take you through a small wizard to say, are you doing an online or an offline product? So is it a physical product or is it something digital like an ebook or a course? And basically take you through the steps of all the things that you would need to do to set it up for you. It'll also give you a URL and say, okay, your store is in here, where a list of all your products can be found. So inside of a store, as I mentioned, you get a product, which would be something like this amazing coffee cup, which I'm going to sell at only 50 Rand. Yes, only 50 Rand, only for today. Call now and you will get this coffee cup, only 50 Rand. So you get the product. The product is the physical thing. It could also be the ebook or the course or whatever the service is that you actually are going to sell them. They can then add that to a cart, which WooCommerce handles for you, and they can pay for it. We'll get to that in a bit. Now, a product can have specifications. So, for example, a width, a height. It might have a weight. This is a 5 kilogram coffee cup. All of those things would basically sit in the product. You also get a description. You can also add categories, and you can also add tags, which basically can tell you, okay, this is part of my coffee repertoire. This is my oeuvre of coffee, and I can have a category for coffee beans, for coffee accessories, for coffee cups, and then for coffee, fresh coffee, which might be a bit awkward if I am shipping it to people. So I can have the categories, tags, and all of these things so that I can group things according to the way that it makes sense for somebody to actually look for it. Now, WooCommerce is extremely extensive, extendable, and you're able to actually add a lot of functionality and a lot of extra things which doesn't come stock standard out of the box. And how do you do it? Well, through plugins, of course. So there are many free plugins that you can use. There are paid for plugins, but you can do a lot. And I mean a lot, with a very, very little bit of research and, well, clicking install. So now let's get on to the payment gateway, because we sort of need to get people to pay for it, right? Well, pay for their things. Okay, so now let's look at payment gateways. Payment gateways are basically websites, okay? That's as simple as that. And they specialize in managing and handling payments on your behalf. Now, there's a lot of licenses that you need, and insurance and other very technical things that, well, if you want to start your own payment gateway, but that is just so heavy and you're going to need a big team and all of that. Why don't you just focus on what you know, which is coffee? So a payment gateway works like this. Susan wants to buy my coffee, okay? This beautiful cup over here from my website. So on my website on WooCommerce, what will happen is they will go add this to my cart and then go and, well, they need to pay for it. The payment gateway, basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send them to the payment gateway. They're going to handle the payment there, and then they're going to come back and say, okay, yes, good, this person is paid, you can dispatch it. That is the beauty about payment gateways. You don't have to worry about the big mess. You don't. Now, iKhokha does a brilliant job with regards to handling this so smoothly. With the plugin that they have for WordPress that links with WooCommerce, it is as smooth as add to cart, pay for it, go to their website, sort it out, well, and then come back and tell you, sharp, the person has paid for it. WooCommerce will then go and say, well, cool, I've actually received a positive response from the payment gateway. I can now go and tell you, well, you can dispatch it. How amazing is that? Now, that's what you want in a payment gateway, is low hassles. The other thing that you really want in a payment gateway is you want low fees. Again, iKhokha does an amazing job with that. Go and check out their fees. I'll add the fees in the comments section below. So what is even more amazing is that the more money you basically turn, well, the lower their fees become. Remember, it does cost money to have a payment gateway, but it costs a lot more losing clients. So, payment gateways, what questions do you need to ask? You need to ask things like, well, are they secure? That's the number one question. And in South Africa, generally they are. Do they have the right certificates and paperwork in place? Well, are they regulated, and do they actually have certain security features in place? You can ask them what security features they have in place, so that in case, some of the details do leak or something like that does happen. I do recommend having a chat with somebody in person first. Don't just go and buy online and take it. Go and speak to somebody, pick up the phone, send them an email, just so that you can get an idea a bit about their features and who they are. Okay, now that we've spoken about payment gateways, iKhokha, we've spoken about WooCommerce, your plugin to actually add a shopping cart, and then WordPress, which is the base of all these things. You sort of have an idea that, with these three things, you can get your online store, well, online. Now, the one thing I do want to mention is you need to remember that you need to look at marketing. I normally tell my customers when I build e-commerce sites for them that your website is very similar to like a home address that you've just bought. Nobody knows that you live there. So you need to go and, well, tell the people that you live there. And that is done through marketing or advertising. And there's many ways you can do it. Some of the ways that I can recommend are things like Google Ads. That is normally done with a pay-per-click campaign, so that people only pay when they click on the ad. You can work with influencers. That is a really cool way as well. If you know somebody that specializes in coffee and love coffee a lot, then you can literally just go say, hey, don't you want to tweet about my coffee? Or just give them free coffee, you know. I've actually had that, people giving me free coffee. Now, what you can also do is you can do an offline campaign, but generally working online is just simpler because the people can just click and go through. You can also run ads on banner ads, you can do Facebook ads, Twitter ads, YouTube ads, video ads, as long as your targeting is correct and you know that you're actually targeting the people and reaching the people that you want to sell to. I do recommend also that you spend some time on SEO, writing articles that are relevant to your website, to your brand, to what you're selling. You can do that through WordPress, through blog posts, and I recommend doing at least one a week so that the people would actually keep tracking. So, okay, my goodness, yes, there's something new and something interesting every week, as well as that Google with their spider bots, when they come to your website and crawl it, that they'll make sure that like, okay, there's some movement here, and because of movement and because of the movements that is there, they basically will keep on spidering and checking your website for new content and basically adding it to the search engine. Okay, so now that you know a little bit more about iKhokha, a little bit about WooCommerce, a little bit about WordPress, and a little bit about how the things fit together, have a wonderful day. Happy investing.